I used to argue that I was more of a type of person who prefers to watch videos rather than reading books. So rather than reading the Harry Potter book, I would prefer to watch the Harry Potter movie. This kind of moved into my educational workflow in the sense that if I had a topic to actually study for in school, I would prefer to watch a video about this topic on YouTube rather than reading my atlas or my textbook as some students do. The only time I brought myself to read books were if only they were spiritual books or non-fiction productivity books or something like that. But then about 2 weeks ago, my friends and I decided to start a book club where we pick a book we're going to be reading, a fiction book, for a particular period of time, and after that period of time we're going to come back and discuss or talk about what interesting thing did we learn from a book. And considering the type of person I was, I knew I was probably going to be slowing the whole group down or even slacking in the group, and I didn't want to. So I decided to research on why or what are the benefits of reading fiction books, and I started to train myself to read fiction books as a habit to improve my reading skill before the book club commences in full. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the benefits of reading fiction books and why you should probably start reading them if you've not started already. And also in today's video, I'll be talking about my 3 favorite things for this month, these 3 fiction books I read this month. And of course, I'll leave the timestamp here on the screen and also in the description box and in the pinned comment, so you can skip to wherever you want to skip to. Of course, I'm going to tell you every single bit of this video is going to be interesting and informative, so you can stick around and watch everything. When it comes to reading, we may be assuming that reading for knowledge is the best reason to pick up a book. Research, however, suggests that fiction may provide far more benefit than non-fiction. So the first benefit of fiction books that I'm going to be talking about today is that reading fiction books improves our creativity, and this is one of the most important reasons why I started reading fiction books. And this I learned a long time ago while talking to one of my seniors here in Russia. We're talking about reading books and watching movies. Kind of explained to me that if you read a book, let's say you read a Harry Potter book and you go back to watch the Harry Potter movie, first you're going to realize that the volume of the content is far lesser in the movie than it was in the book, and secondly, most importantly, when you watch a movie, 90% of the creativity was done by the producer or the director of the movie. When you watch a movie, you're probably enjoying the creativity of the director or the producer. If you read a book, if you've ever read a fiction book and you notice that when the author is kind of describing an action, probably the character is entering a room or sitting on a throne or walking in a particular type of way, we kind of imagine and have this picture in our heads as we continue to read and this author describes this action. And this kind of amazes me. This level of creativity amazes me, and sometimes I even wonder that what if this picture in my head or this color of this clothes in my head is not actually what this author is currently talking about. So when we read fictional books, we are the creators of our own creativity, and we also enjoy our creativity at the same time. The second benefit I would love to talk about today is that fictional books improve our sense of empathy, and empathy is just our ability to be able to understand or share other people's feelings. While we read fiction books, we kind of put ourselves in the shoes of another person, and a psychologist, Raymond Mao, who analyzed about 86 fMRI studies, he saw substantial overlap between the areas of the brain that are concerned with understanding language or understanding stories, and also the area of the brain that actually controls interaction with other people. And this is what he has to say. In particular, interactions in which we are trying to figure out the thoughts and feelings of others. Scientists call this capacity of the brain to construct a map of other people's intentions theory of mind. Narratives offer a unique opportunity to engage this capacity, to identify with characters' longings and frustrations, guess their hidden motives, and track their encounters with friends and enemies, neighbors and lovers. This is because when we read about a situation of feeling, it's kind of like we're feeling these things ourselves. I even carried out a survey. I asked 5 of my friends that I know they read a lot of fiction books. All of them were able to confirm experience of high emotional attachment with some of the fiction books they've read in the past. Another one said if she had the opportunity, she would have actually rewritten the book and she would have written it the way she wanted it to end. And the funniest to me was that one of them said she gets to a point of weeping sometimes when she reads fiction books. And this is kind of amazing to me. This level of emotional connection with a fiction books improves our empathy and the way we understand other people. The benefit we're going to be looking at today is that reading fiction book is an effective way of relieving stress. We all know that our brains can't work at full capacity for 24 hours every single day of our lives. And so sometimes we all need some periods of disengagement to rest our cognitive capabilities and get back to peak functionality. And this is what the New Yorker had to say. Reading has been shown to put our brains into a trance-like state, similar to meditation, and it brings the same health benefits of deep relaxation and inner calm. Regular readers sleep better, have lower stress level, higher self-esteem, and lower rates of depression than non-readers. Also, a research at Success University showed that reading fiction books was the most effective way to actually relieve ourselves of stress, beating some ways like listening to music or even taking a walk. This is because they noticed that within 6 minutes of silent reading, participants' heart rate slowed down, the tension in their muscles eased up to about 68%. Psychologists believe reading works so well because the mind concentration kind of creates a distraction and eases the tension in the body. So finally, on the benefits of reading fiction books that I'm going to talk about today, reading fiction books help to improve our vocabulary. This I read in a blog post where they explained that in 2013, Emory University carried out a research on brains of people after they finished reading fiction books and people who didn't read fiction books at all. And they noticed that in the brains of people that read fiction books, there were increased activities in some special part of the brain, like the left temporal cortex that's actually responsible for understanding language. Also, a website called testyourvocabulary.com or something like that carried out a research on people who took their test, and they noticed that not only reading books improved your vocabulary, but even the type of book you read actually determined the increase in your vocabulary level. And this is because fictional books tend to use more new vocabulary than non-fiction books do. So this month, my favorite things for this month were actually these 3 fiction books I read. And okay, I'm still reading this one. I finished this too. I got this from my friend actually. She got them from a bookshop here in Russia. And I will leave a link down in the description box below to some of the popular fiction books people actually read, so you can feel free to get them. And so I read these 2 books and I'm still reading this one, trying to improve my reading skills and trying to stop myself from using my phone while on the bed. So I usually read this while I'm about to sleep on my bed. Actually, this is the most interesting one. The titles are written in Russian, but they're actually in English. And this was just about a scientist who worked all his life trying to make himself invisible and eventually did that and was trying to kill or take control. Eventually, he was caught and apprehended at the end of the book. And this one in English actually meant 3 ads. This was about a girl who loved 2 guys the same way because they actually look alike. Then she was thinking of which one to marry, but then at the end she noticed that one of them was actually a blood brother, and so she was able to pick one already, and it was very interesting. Third one is Jane Eyre, and it's about an orphan, and I heard there's actually a bigger book or a popular one and people can actually read. I'm very happy that I actually started reading this book. The first one I read, it took me about a week, even though it's very small, because I didn't actually love reading before. Then the second one, which had more content, which was a little bit bigger, I actually read it in 2 days. I also started this last one about 2 or 3 days ago, and I'm still reading it, almost done. It's actually nice to read these books, and I'm kind of like a living testimony to these benefits I just talked about, because they're really blowing my mind out as I'm reading these books. So that's been it. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you loved this video, and this video is actually a motivation for you to start reading fiction books if you've not started before, or continue reading fiction books if you've been reading them before. Don't forget, if you loved the video, please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed. Either ways, tell me what you guys think in the comment section. Recommendations of popular or nice fictional books that you've read and you want to share with me and every other person, please leave it down in the comment section below. If you've ever felt any height of emotional attachment with any book in particular, you can also leave that in the comment section below. It's going to be interesting for all of us to read. So that's been it. Catch you guys very soon in the next video. Peace.